Oh, Pandita, what's wrong? Are you stressed about the midterm? Yeah? You want to take a nap instead? You're confused? Oh, I understand. Don't worry. I'll explain what to do.
Candida was getting stressed about your midterm. Listening to all y'all stressed me out on the phone. So I guess it was a little confusing. So I'm going to give you some helpful tips on how I would do this, right? And hopefully explain the midterm assignment a little clearer. And also I'm going to just throw you a bonus. Excuse me. Um, Instead of picking 4 articles, right, you only now need to do 3. And if you do the 4th, it's extra credit and it'll count as a journal entry, right? So you don't have to do one of those. Okay, so the midterm, here's what you're going to do. You are going to find something on one of those websites, right, that I linked to in the assignment that looks interesting to you. And maybe it looks interesting to you because you watched First Peoples and you were interested in human evolution and how we migrated from, one place in Africa all around the world. Or maybe it's interesting to you because, you were really like caught up in the reading thinking about how we're related to monkeys and, whether monkeys turned into humans and how we're the same and how we're different. And that was a big deal. So whatever. So I was looking around Sapiens, which is one of the websites, and I found an article that said chimpanzees can't tell us much about being human. I printed it out, and then I took notes on it as I was reading it. So I don't know. I wasn't sure if it was going to be interesting, and I wasn't sure if it was going to make sense. But let's see. So chimpanzees can't tell us much about being human. Although there is merit in recognizing how we resemble our primate relatives, sometimes we need to understand what sets our species apart. Okay, species. So I know we talked about species in the reading and in the videos. That's probably a term I'm going to look up in the text. So they're talking here about there being significant overlap between humans and chimpanzees. However, to draw evolutionary insights from comparisons between species, we must be sure that we are comparing the same underlying evolutionary processes and that similar patterns are indeed similar. Oh, evolution. All right. So we definitely read about evolution in a few different chapters. I think in this book, it was chapter 2 and chapter 4. So I'm probably going to see if there's something in there that could help me when I'm making connections between this article and class. Let's see. Oh, aspects of our morphology and physiology, that is the way we look and function, that sounds biological. And our general patterns of social behavior, oh, that sounds cultural, are connected to the fact that we are primates. Like chimpanzees and most primates, we humans place great importance on our social worlds and abilities. Our society, with its obligatory social intensity, is part of being a primate, part of our evolutionary heritage. But later on, it goes on to say that we know that chimpanzees don't have cash economies, governments, religious institutions, right? They don't change planet-wide ecosystems. We're a particular mammal, a primate, that's able to look at the world around us, see it as it is, imagine entirely new possibilities, and convert those imaginings into material reality. So they're talking about biology and culture, so that's a biocultural approach. And I know we talked about that in the very beginning of class when we were still seeing each other's faces. And so that's probably in one of the slides, so I could make a connection there. And later it goes on to talk about the biological changes. So biological anthropology. So maybe I'm gonna see what's happening there. That gives me one of the 4 fields now to focus on. Oh, it's talking about the potential of the tools and how tool usage is different for humans, for Homo sapiens, than it is for chimpanzees. So maybe I'll look a little bit at the tools when they talk about tools in the textbook and, you know, go into detail about how we make tools that are different than the types of tools that like chimps make, right? So I guess I'm going to connect this to this article, right, to the class material by talking about ideas. The ideas, I mean, like, you know, words mean things and they represent ideas, which we'll talk about when we talk about language. But it's not so much you have to use specific terms and vocabulary. It's that you're taking what you are reading in these articles and you're making a connection to something you read it in the textbook or you saw in a video. So I would think, you know, for this article, chimpanzees can't tell us much about being human. I would summarize the article, right? So it's talking about how we are different and the same, right, as other primates, but it's focusing on the differences, right? So I would maybe then explain how anthropology takes a biocultural approach. Right? That's one of the key characteristics. Might talk about how species are divided, right? Because in chapter 4, we talk about species, speciation, macro and microevolution. I'm going to read a little bit there. And I'll write like 2 paragraphs, right? One that summarizes what the article is talking about, and another one that connects it to the text and gives some ideas and insights, right, that I'm having while reading it. That's all you're going to do. It's not a big deal. If you just do it. And if you don't do a good job, you can revise it. I'll give you comments and then you can do it over. So it's nothing to stress about. You're picking some articles, you're relating them to things that we've watched in the videos or that we've read. You don't have to do 4 anymore. You only have to do 3. Those links that I included are helpful places for you to look for articles. And I don't know if I would start from like doing a little search on some of those websites for things that I think are interesting and then trying to connect it, or I would find something from the videos that I thought was interesting and then search for that specifically in the articles, because then I already have the connection, right? So it's like I would either do article and then try to make a connection with the material, or you could also start with whatever material you've covered, like if you haven't been doing so much of the reading, right? And then do a search for an article or a blog or a pod, whatever, that connects with that. So it's going to be fine. And even if it's not fine, it's still going to be fine. As long as you don't plagiarize. If you plagiarize, it's not going to be fine. I'm going to be mad. We're going to have problems. But hopefully Pandita will feel less stressed out. All right. So you guys are going to be good. I hope that clears things up. And I will see you and talk to you again soon. Have a good one.